Morning. Sitting here with my coffee and thinking about having a plan B. Even when you're playing guitar, sometimes it's good to have a plan B. But I gotta tell you a little story. You thought you were going to get away without a story. Okay, for those of you that don't like stories, because I've heard from you, I apologize. Well, actually, I don't apologize. I just like to tell stories. So just put your finger on the side of that screen, and I think it speeds me up. Or you can take and find the little bar and just slide up until you get to the place where I'm going to teach you about power chords. And in this case, today we're going to look at the F, the B flat, and the C power chord. And I say chord, there's many of them, but those are the ones we're going to be looking at. And but before we get there, I'm going to tell you a story. So I'm warning you now, if you're not a story listener, then don't listen. Okay. It's all about Plan B. When I was a young girl, very young, I was just learning how to read and write, basically. I don't know how old that'd be, maybe 4 or 5. But anyways, I was going to school, and we were learning to sound out words and to write the letters down so that you could actually write the word down. And so I knew pretty much how to sound out every letter. And we had a chalkboard up in our playroom. It was an upstairs room that my parents made into a place where my brother and I could go play. And he liked to play trucks. I liked to draw on the board. Sometimes I'd play trucks and cars with him too. We had a lot of fun with different things. But anyways, this one particular day I was writing on my chalkboard, and I decided to sound out a word, a forbidden word. That word started with S and ended with T, the 4-letter one. In my house, if you got caught saying those kind of things, that's when they washed your mouth out with soap, that ivory soap stuff. Oh my goodness. It's no wonder kids live through their childhood. But anyways, that's what would happen to you if you got caught. Well, I figured, I'm writing it, I'm not saying it. What's the worst that could happen? They're going to wash out my hands, So I sounded out the word, and I wrote it on this chalkboard in big, big letters. And then I called my brother over to take a look, which I thought he'd get a kick out of it. But to my amazement, he looked horrified. His mouth dropped open, and I heard him say, "I'm telling Mom." So he ran down to tell my mother all about my artistic creativity and how it had gone wrong. And I thought to myself, I need a plan B. Probably didn't think it in those words, but in a sense, that's what I was thinking. And so I very quickly schemed up something, grabbed the chalk, and I drew a big picture of a ship underneath my 4-letter creation. And by the time my mother and my brother made it up the top of the steps to see what I had done, I had drawn the ship, I had the water, I even had a little sunshine up in the corner. And I was looking so proud of my beautiful picture. So innocent of those words, that word that I structured. And when my mother saw it, she thought for sure that I just need to learn how to spell. So she started laughing, and she came over and corrected my spelling, told me how to sound out the word again. My brother just stood in the corner with his mouth wide open. He never said another word about it. Even to this day, he never said another word about it. I had a plan B, and it worked. So sometimes when in life, we need to have a plan B, and that includes guitar playing. So today we're going to look at a plan B for the F chord. And that chord is kind of difficult to form, as we all know. But once you get it, it's not hard anymore. And we had a video we put out on our approach to the F chord, you know, how to make that chord, how to roll up to it. But today I'm going to show you the power chord for it. And it's just one of many, but it's probably one of the easiest ones. And it's found starting up on the 8th fret, okay? So you got 5, 6, 7, 8. And I just want you to take your pointer finger and put it on the 2nd string over, right? And then you're going to take your middle finger and go down 2 frets and 1 string over. See that? Notice my thumb is behind. Then you're going to take your ring finger, place it on the string right next to it. Okay? So now you've got this. See? Okay. And what is that? It's the F chord. Now when you play this, I'll get a pick here. You can only play those 3 notes, because if you play them all, it's going to go wrong, okay? Sometimes what I'll do is and it takes a little practice to do this, but kind of touch the string, the E string, so that it mutes it. So if you hit it, it doesn't sound bad, okay? So you can see how I did this, all right? Now I want to show you something. I have a thin pick here, and sometimes it's just a little too thin. You know, when you play, you know, like you normally would play a pick. Well, so what I do is I turn it, and I actually can get a little more speed out of it, and I use this angle of the pick. Don't be afraid to try different things. That's F, right? There's F. Okay. There it is right there. Here it is right here. Okay. So that's the an F power chord. Now, what goes with F? Well, when you're playing in what they call the 1-4-5, and we're not going to go into that, but when you're playing a lot of songs that are so popular, they're built around the F, the B flat, and the C. So let's look at those power chords to go with it. So you've got F, right? So let's go to B flat. B flat is take your pointer finger, 6th fret down, and then you're going to go to the 2nd string over and go up 2 frets. So now you're at the 8th fret. See that? And then you're going to take your middle finger and place it right next to it. Just like those same formations, isn't it? Every time it's the same. And so you've got this. You want to make sure you just play those 3 strings. Because if you play them all, it's not going to sound right. But if you play it like this, you get, there's B flat up here, right? There it is right there. Now, so to get to the C, you just have to slide up 2 frets using that same formation. So we got B flat. You see that? What does that remind you of? Remember that? I want to hold your hand. Anyways, so those are 3 power chords that might take a little bit to get used to. Now, remember yesterday we talked about using that middle finger as a reference. It still works here. So if you want to know about that in terms of making some notes around those power chords, take a look at the video before, okay? And, okay, so that's what I wanted to share today. And I hope learning those power chords might be helpful to you. And you can pick them too. Now, I always say use your thumb to navigate the bottom 3 strings when you're picking, and your 3 fingers for the top. Here's a place where I'll break the rules. Just take your thumb, your first finger, and just do those 3 strings. Okay? All right. Well, I'm going to stop right there. That's a lot you'll just have to take a look at, and hopefully you learned something today that you can add to your tools. And I hope you have a wonderful day out there wherever you are in this world.